And action. Hello, darling. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you guys can see me and I can see you. Let's get comfortable. We are talking about taxes. Now, why is tax important in America? In America. Hello. Uncle Sam here. Deducted. Okay, first question that I get a lot is number one. Where is your tax home? IRS, hello, darling. I was a tax pro once. Tax accountant. Your tax home is the entire city or general area where your principal place of business is located, full stop. This is not necessarily the place where you live. Emphasis on business, where your business is located. So, where's your tax home? Where your business is located, not necessarily the place where you live, your home. And so on and so on. Do I read an example? Okay. Tim is a political lobbyist who maintains his office in Washington, D.C. However, his family lives in New York City. He spends weekends with his family in New York and stays in a hotel during the week when he works in Washington, D.C. Tim's tax home, Tim's, say that 5 times fast. Tim's tax home is in Washington, D.C. This means that when he travels back and forth between Washington and New York, his trips are non-deductible commuting. In addition, he gets no travel expense deductions while staying in Washington. He cannot deduct his hotel room or his meals as a business travel expense because Washington, D.C. is his tax home, not his traveling while staying there. So the IRS doesn't care how far you travel for business. You will get a deduction as long as you travel outside your tax home city limits. And it goes on to say, and stay overnight. Yeah, you have to stay overnight. Thus, even if you're just traveling across town, you'll qualify for a deduction if you manage or stay outside your city limits. Okay, darling. Question number 2. What is business travel? I know you guys love the IRS when it comes to spending meals and, fancy lodges and camps. And deduct, but no, you can't do that, sweetie. Uncle Sam will be knocking. Okay, darling. So what is business travel? For tax purposes, business travel occurs... Oh, somebody wants to see my dirty feet, I guess. For tax purposes, business travel occurs when you travel away from your tax home overnight for your business. You don't have to travel any set distance to get a travel expense deduction. However, you cannot take this deduction if you just spend the night in a motel across town. You must travel outside your city limits. If you don't live in a city, you must go outside the general area where your business is located. You must stay away overnight or at least long enough to require a stopover for sleep or rest. You cannot satisfy the rest requirement by merely napping in your car. Okay? So, and the other thing is, Osama, I can't be everywhere. I'm a CEO, CFO, marketing guru, accountant, founder, and everything. I understand. What I would suggest is Because you're thinking about what? You're thinking about how businesses are taxed? Very good. The number one asked at IRS question. Can you read? How business are taxed. How businesses are taxed. If your business earns money, as you undoubtedly hope it will, right? Because why are we starting a business in the first place? It's a lazy one. Why are we starting a business in the first place? Anybody, soul angels? Anybody? Why? To make money. Very good. Clap. Clap for yourselves. To make money. You will have to pay taxes on those profits. How you pay those taxes will depend on how you have structured your business. Bingo. And you put bingo. Don't be afraid to write on your book, honey. That's what it's for, a pen or a paper or whatever. Okay? So what are the basic business? Number one is the sole proprietor. And that is me, Usama Faizing. Why social security number? Okay? That is me, sole proprietor. Okay, I use my social security, darling. A sole proprietorship is a one on a business. You can't be a sole proprietor if two or more people own the business. And I don't need to go any further. Unless you own the business with your spouse. So unlike the other businesses forms, a sole proprietor has no legal existence separate from the business owner. It cannot sue or be sued, own property in its own name, or file its own tax returns. Okay? The business owner, proprietor, personally owns all of the assets of the business and controls its operation. If you're running a one-person business and you haven't incorporated or formed a limited liability company, LLC, you're a sole proprietor. And I prefer to use your social security. Okay, darling. The number two is a partnership with maybe a team of people. That's like an ice cream shop, an ice cream truck shop. And number three are, the Bill Gates, the Elon Musks, the Mark Zuckerbergs. You know what I'm saying? And the billionaires who actually own a corporation, right? Number three, corporation. Okay, darling. Those are the Microsofts, Inc., the Apple Inc., the Google Inc., etc., etc. And until we meet again, darling, please read a book. At least, you see how long that took? That took less than 10 minutes. I promise you that. 9 minutes and 18 seconds, 19, 20, 21, 22. You know what I'm saying? Less than 10 minutes to read just your chapter and its knowledge. And you don't have to go book by book. Just go through and see what you want to read. That's why there's an index, darling. You see what I'm saying? Do you ever wonder why authors put indexes? Because sometimes you just want to refer to something that is related to you, honey. And not everything will be related to you. Okay, darling? Love you. And until we meet again, adios, amigos.